3 reasons to do a checkbook control IRA. Hey everyone, Adam Bergman here, tax attorney and founder of IRA Financial. And on today's podcast, the 3 main reasons why you would want to set up a checkbook control self-directed IRA. And here they are. The first is freedom. The second is limited liability protection. And the third is privacy. And on today's podcast, I'm going to explain to you what a self-directed IRA LLC checkbook control is, how it works, and why you would want to set one up, including the 3 primary reasons I just mentioned. So the self-directed IRA LLC, probably the most popular solution for engaging in a self-directed IRA structure. Now, I actually put a flow chart on my screen. If you are watching this on YouTube, you'll see the flow chart. If you're listening to the podcast, you can always check out the video on our YouTube channel where we post all my podcasts, which I do 3 of them a week, along with other great video content every single week. So you definitely want to check that out. But essentially what the self-directed IRA LLC is a self-directed IRA, which is an IRA that is allowed and structured to allow you to do alternative asset investments like real estate. But the only difference with an IRA, self-directed IRA, and an LLC is an LLC is created between the IRA and the investment, right? So if you just do a regular self-directed IRA, the IRA invests directly into the real estate, for example. Title in the investment is in the name of the IRA, so IRA Financial Trust Company, for the benefit of the Adam Bergman IRA. And all the income gains will still flow to the IRA. But anytime you need to pay an expense or do a transaction, the IRA custodian, as trustee of the IRA, is the party that needs to be involved in terms of effectuating that transaction. What the LLC does is it gives you, the IRA owner, freedom, because you'll be the manager of the LLC, giving you what's known as checkbook control or wire control or Venmo control, whatever you want to call yourself. But the way the operating agreement, which controls the operations of the LLC, will be set up is that it's going to give the manager, which would be the IRA owner in most cases, the checkbook control. So he or she can write a check to pay a contractor, write a check to do the investment, have the bank account at their fingertips so they can decide how things are invested. They don't need to go directly through a custodian to get things done. So that's where the first reason of freedom comes into play, where you as the manager of the checkbook control, you have the freedom to make investments quickly. You have the freedom to pay any expense you want easily, whether it's a contractor, a painter, whether you're doing a check, a wire, or Venmo, Zelle, you can do it through the LLC. Now, IRA Financial will even set up that LLC for you. We have a banking relationship with Capital One, so you don't even have to ever enter a bank, but you can always use a bank of your choice if you so desire. But freedom is the big one. You also get investment freedom, just like a self-directed IRA. There's only 3 things you can't do with an IRA. 1, you can't buy life insurance. 2, you can't buy collectibles like art. And thirdly, under Internal Revenue Code Section 4975, you can't engage in any transaction that directly or indirectly personally benefits you as the IRA owner or any of your lineal descendants, your parents, your children, your spouse, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, or any entities controlled 50% or more by such persons. Okay, otherwise you can do it. So whether it's real estate or gold or cryptos or private equity, hedge funds, venture capital, hard money loans, real estate funds, private business investments, private stock, anything that's not publicly traded, so long as it doesn't personally involve a disqualified person, you can do it. Okay, so freedom is the first reason. Second is the limited liability protection, right? So when you have an LLC that makes the investment, the LLC as a limited liability company, which all 50 states and the District of Columbia respects, has the pass-through tax treatment of owning it directly through an IRA, because an LLC is a disregarded entity for tax purposes. A single member LLC is a disregarded entity. An LLC with 2 or more owners, for example, 2 or more IRAs, is treated as a partnership, which is also a tax nothing. It does file a tax return, but it is not subject to an entity level tax like a corporation is. Okay, so it's basically a tax nothing. But from a corporate standpoint, it gives you limited liability protection, meaning all the IRA assets, all your assets outside of the LLC are shielded and protected from creditors. A limited liability protection does not protect the assets in the LLC. So if you have some cash or assets in the LLC, that is not protected. You would need insurance to protect that from attack. But what the LLC does is protect your other assets outside of the LLC, which is also paramount and super, super important. So I do believe if you are engaged in real estate or transactions that have high level of frequency, high risk, having the LLC is a no-brainer. It's inexpensive. It's probably going to cost you a couple $100 a year to just admin. We do the setup. We'll do the IRA LLC. We'll even file the beneficial ownership interest report. We'll keep you up to date. We do it all. If you have a partnership, we even file your partnership return 1065. No tax would be due, but we still file it. So we will come in and not only just set it up and customize it for you, we'll help you record keep and administer the LLC. And that's what we specialize in. And the third reason to set up a checkbook control self-directed IRA LLC is privacy, right? When you make an investment directly in the IRA, everyone can see who the owner of that investment is, right? IRA Financial Trust Company for the benefit, FBO, of Adam Bergman's IRA. So everyone knows that Adam Bergman is using his IRA to make the investment. Some people may care, some may not. But for those that do care, if you have an LLC, the investment is made in the LLC's name. So XYZ LLC or ABC LLC, which sure, you can go into a Secretary of State's website and see who the registered agent is or maybe the manager. But if you are super concerned with privacy, you can always set an LLC up in Delaware or Wyoming, Nevada, which is much more difficult to find out who the owners of that LLC are or even who the manager is. The only thing you can find out is who the registered agent is, which you can hire a registered agent company for $100 or so a year to serve in that capacity. So in that context, it's very, 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 very difficult to find out who actually owns the LLC, let alone disclosing the fact that your IRA is the owner. So for some folks, like, for example, if you're a private equity member of the firm or hedge fund or venture capitalist, and you don't want the limited partners to know that you're using an IRA and not your personal money to invest, having an LLC will shield that because they're not going to be able to know that. They're just going to see the LLC, ABC LLC. They're not going to see John Doe or Adam Bergman. So when you add up those three reasons, you can understand why really since the Swanson case of 1996, which was the first tax court case that said that an IRA could own an entity and be managed by the IRA owner without triggering the prohibited transaction rules. I've been in this business since 2009. I'm following the self-directed IRA world since probably 2007. And over the last 10 or so years, say 65 to 70% of the clients we get want the LLC. And I'm all for it, right? We know it's legal. The IRS is, in fact, if you have to get a loan from Fannie or Freddie Mae, they make you do an LLC. If you have to get a non-recourse loan from a bank, they make you use an LLC. So anyone out there that's saying the checkbook control is dangerous and you can't do it, they're lying to you. They're just scared of you having more control. And they're scared that you're going to wake up and say, well, hey, why do I need to pay you so much money when I got the control? A lot of these custodians, and I won't mention names, they generally are the ones that are charging asset valuation fees. They want more control. They want you to go to them more. So they're charging you more transaction fees. And since you need them more, they could then say, hey, that's why we're charging you asset management fees, because we actually are more actively involved in the management of your IRA. Where IRA Financial, we use flat fees. We have no transaction fees. We have no asset valuation fees. We have no wire fees. We got no check fees. We got no research fees. We're flat, no conversion fees for Roth. We are going to give you an amazing service and not nickel and dime you on fees. So that's why, checkbook control works really well for our clients. We want to empower our clients, right? It's nothing more American than checkbook control and having freedom, having limited liability protection, and having privacy. So those are the three main reasons why the checkbook control self-directed IRA LLC has become the most popular self-directed retirement solution for millions of Americans. And hopefully now you understand it. Hopefully the flow chart was helpful to at least explain that all it is, it's actually just a line where you start with the IRA, you have the LLC and an investment. The flow chart I had made it a little bit more complex than it really had to be, but you're just sticking in the LLC in the middle between the IRA and the ultimate investment for the fact of giving you the checkbook control freedom, limited liability protection, and privacy. That's it for today's podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Appreciate you hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed it, please leave a review, good comment, thumbs up, whatever you want to do. I'd appreciate it. All feedback is great. If you have constructive criticism, hey, I can take it. My goal is to get better. I do this to educate everyone so everyone can become smarter, better, wiser, and definitely more successful, richer, self-directed investors. So that's it for today. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see everyone again next week. Ciao.